On ice hockey is back for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The prospects are ready to kick off their prospect tournament in Wesley Chapel. We'll take a look on today's Locked On Lightning.
You're Locked On Lightning, your daily podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Lightning your first listen of the day. Every single day, we are your free daily Tampa Bay Lightning podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, I want to start out by shouting out our everydayers, those of you who tune into every single show, every single day. We love you. We appreciate the support you give us week in, week out. I'm Nick Morgan, and I am joined by the Slater Cuckoo to my Jonathan Drouin, Greg Steven. And Greg, we have actual hockey going on today. Players on the Tampa Bay Lightning roster in uniform playing a competitive game against another NHL team. Just prospects, but still, just the fact that they are on the ice. Oh, it's a sign we're one step closer to hockey, bud.
We're getting there. And look, I've been seeing some Lightning practice videos too. Oh, they're circulating around and it's energizing me. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready for puck drop. We've seen some good content from the Tampa Bay Lightning social team of all their prospects in town, starting to gear up and doing all the activities and stuff like that. Big day. The annual prospects tournament in Tampa starts today. It's going on in Wesley Chapel. So basically, here's how this works. There's 4 teams: Lightning, Panthers, Hurricanes, Predators, playing basically kind of a round-robin tournament. They're going to play a game. And then they are going to do a 5-on-5 shootout, or I guess like a 5-player shootout.
Right.
So like international rules, regardless of what the score is. So we're going to see some shootout skills. We're going to see an actual on-ice game. This is a big test. I think, for just, it's a chance to see your top prospects gel in a competitive environment, if nothing else, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives the guys who actually had maybe a game or two under their belt with the Lightning last season a chance to show, hey, this is why I got my shot up there and I deserve another one, right? So you look for guys like, Dylan Duke to make an appearance there and kind of show up some of the guys. And you mentioned Ethan the other day, and he's arguably one of the top prospects. So we'll see him out there as well. So that should be exciting.
Possibly the top prospect in the system right now.
Right.
We're actually going to talk about players that we're going to be watching out for in this tournament coming up in just a little bit. But let's talk about the prospect pool as a whole for the Lightning right now, Greg, because it's no secret. It's pretty thin. I think The Athletic had it ranked 28th in the NHL when they did their annual prospect rankings last year. I think Elite Prospects had them even lower going into this season. No surprise. No surprise at all. This is a team that's consistently sacrificed some first-round picks for players that can win right now. The one player that you can conceivably see maybe is like a high-end star, Isaac Howard, not here anymore. We're going to talk about that situation and the ramifications of that coming up in just a little bit too. But what exactly, as this tournament starts, are you sort of looking to get out of this current group of prospects?
That's a great question. I think realistically, it's just one extremely talented player. That's what I would look for, especially like you said. It's not like they've gone out and used all these draft picks to, pick up a ton of prospects or anything like that. They've always sacrificed that type of deal to win now, right? And that's where they are, and that's the reality of it. And like you said, 28th in the league is not great. But I still think there's some shining stars that have the chance to come up and play some at least decent minutes. One that comes to my mind is Jack Finley, big boy, but he's talented. So I think with some time and some practice, like there's no reason they can't succeed in the NHL.
Yeah, and sad that we actually don't get to see Finley in this tournament. He had that season-ending shoulder injury. Not 100% from that yet, or if he is, Lightning are just being very careful with how they bring him back onto the ice. So I'm with you. That's a player that you and I have talked about coming on to the team possibly this year and playing a role. So he's somebody I'm watching going into training camp too, just to see
Yeah.
if he's healthy and he has the chance to compete for a spot. That's somebody that I wouldn't be surprised to maybe earn a spot down the road.
Yeah, I'd love to see him on the team, especially with the size he has. That's just something that this team needs right now is like that body.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6'6", like two something like.
Good throwback to the days of having Andre Schuster and Brian Boyle up there,
right?
To match Victor Hedman's freak,
so, right?
I'm kind of with you in terms of how you rank the prospects right now, and just because I'll say it like this: I don't see any quote unquote superstars in the pool right now. But that doesn't mean there aren't people that you could potentially look at as building blocks.
Right.
I'm talking about guys that you can develop into being really good role players in the NHL. And I see a lot of them, especially up front. We're going to talk about maybe some specific people coming up here in just a little bit when we talk about our top prospects going into this tournament. But you want to find a guy that maybe, hey, not going to be a first-line player, but maybe you're a good third-line player. Or maybe you're somebody like a Zemgus Girgensons right now, where you come in and do one specific thing really, really well. Like maybe you're a good face-off specialist. Maybe you're a good penalty killer. Maybe you're somebody who's a really good forechecker and you earn your spot on a fourth line. Or maybe you do have some offensive upside minus some other holes in your game, and you're somebody that's kind of a third-line guy, power play specialist kind of guy. There's roles out there for players like this. And I think if you're Tampa and Julien Brisebois right now, that's sort of what you're looking for, is looking at these guys. It's like, okay, we have a lot of our core locked up. Who's some players that can come up here and play a role for our team moving forward? And who knows? Maybe they come in there, play that role, and then there is room for them to develop, like a Brandon Hagel did.
Yeah. And you know what else? I think of it a lot like when teams draft QBs in the NFL when they already have a starting QB. And it's mostly because they want them to learn from the guy, right? Yeah. So I view it the same way. It's like they kind of gave Dylan Duke a shot this past season for a game, and that was his first taste. And I think you bring in these younger guys and have them learn from these vets like Cooch and Point, get the mentality down, get the understanding of the game down, learn from these guys as time progresses. And these guys are all the superstars on the team now are going to age out. And then, the prospects are the ones coming up to fill that void. Right. So ideally they take some stuff away from the veterans of the team. And even if that means playing 5 to 10 games right now, that's totally acceptable. I don't think, like you said, anyone is necessarily a superstar. I don't think anyone's playing any of these prospects will see more than 20 games unless they just absolutely, blow someone out of the water. And it's very clear they deserve to be on the team. I just think the Lightning are also so stacked right now. It's the slots available are so limited. So again, like playing more than 20 games seems extremely unreasonable for any of these guys at this time, but I still think they should at least play the 5-ish games if they can afford it to like get some experience at the NHL level in them. Right. And build their confidence. I think that builds confidence. And I think that's a big part of it too.
I agree 100%. Like if nothing else, it is on ice competition at the NHL level with some of the other teams' best collection of talent. And who knows, there are going to be players that see each other long-term. Again, this is Florida. This is Carolina. These are teams that you're going to be playing a lot moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
So again, if nothing else, you absolutely want to get out of it. Greg, let's talk specific prospects here because there are some prospects to watch heading into this tournament that I have my eye on. Maybe some people that I think could be among the top prospects for the Lightning as the year goes on. We're going to talk about that, plus the Isaac Howard situation. Did that play out maybe in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning moving forward? It's a strong take, but we're going to make that argument coming up here in just a little bit. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all of their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. When you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. So if you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does all the heavy lifting. All you need to do is link your financial accounts, and in minutes, you can see clear data visuals, smart categorization of all your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever having to fill in a pesky spreadsheet. So don't let this financial opportunity fall through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. Again, 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL. Welcome back to Locked On Lightning. Nick Morgan alongside Greg Stephen. And Greg, we are talking the start of the Prospects tournament down in Wesley Chapel. Lightning taking on the Panthers, Hurricanes, and Predators. First game tonight, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern, taking on the Nashville Predators. Should be a good one. Greg, let's talk about top prospects for the Tampa Bay Lightning this year, because we mentioned the state of the prospect pool, but there's still some good guys in this lineup that we think could be stars for the Lightning moving forward, or at least really good role players. Who are a couple people that you have your eye on in this tournament?
First person I have on my list, Max Groshev. And he played, if I'm not mistaken, he started as a forward, okay? And he was playing for the Crunch last season, and they actually switched him to play defense. And what they have done with him is they've made him carry the puck out of the zone by himself, right? And a lot of the breakouts in the NHL are just passing against the wall, right? And then you pass across the ice. It's a standard breakout.
Yeah.
He puck carries, right? And he takes the puck out of the zone. And I think that's because he was a forward. So I think that's really encouraging for the Lightning, because they are still looking for that next Victor Hedman who can be that offensive defenseman, and a forward that can effectively adapt to playing defense. That's pretty unheard of. And if he can pull that off, especially at an NHL level, he could do some damage up there.
Yeah, that's like Sergei Fedorov from back in the day personified, right? The
Yep.
star forward being able to stop back and be our everyday defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because they do need that puck carrying defenseman to kind of supplant, and that's so thin. You know, when you talk about top prospects for the Lightning this year, you know, the guys that I think of are Ethan Gauthier, who I think has an outside chance of being on the opening night roster, or at the very least, I think is going to get a shot this year at some point. You know, we talked about Jack Finley, who's unfortunately not at this tournament. Sam O'Reilly, who you could argue maybe is the number one prospect in the pool right now, came over from Edmonton in the Isaac Howard trade. It's all forwards, right? It's all forwards that are kind of these top end guys. One guy I'm looking at on the blue line is the 5th round pick from this year, Everett Baldwin. This is a guy that has had a wild last 18 months of his life. At the start of last season, he was playing prep school, St. George's School. He wound up then playing for the USA development team. He played in the national U18 tournament. And now going into this year, he's going to be in the Quebec Major Junior League. And, by the way, he is also committed to be at Providence College next year. He also played in the USHL last year. That's like 5 leagues.
It's a lot of hockey.
5 leagues that you're either linked to or played in like just the last like 12 months. So it's going to be interesting, but I think because he's moved around a lot and because he was playing prep school, maybe not as highly regarded as some other, you know, top prospects on this list who've gotten to play competition longer. But, you know, I've seen him play a little bit, you know, going back and watching some of his highlights after the draft. And, you know, he's a good, fair skater. Like, he's not elite by any means, but his skating is pretty good. Like, some of the best part of his game. I think he is a pretty decent puck handler. And I'm interested to see, as he maybe settles into more consistent playing time with more consistent teams moving forward, maybe that's a guy who can really build up his skill set and maybe be, you know, the guy that we talked about this year was Darren Radish, maybe be some of that guy that comes in as 6th, 7th defenseman, really good NHL skater, really good depth guy. I'm wondering if he's somebody that can develop into that role.
Yeah, it's an awesome pick. I did not even have him on my radar, so I'm glad you did. So
Yeah.
I can learn some more names and some players. I'll throw
Somebody
one
has
more
to
at you that I
find,
had.
yeah,
Well,
somebody
go
has
ahead.
to do that. Somebody has to find the defense here because
Right.
it's all forwards in the prospect pool right now.
It's funny because I was actually going to say Ethan Zada, and he was just drafted this past draft by the Lightning. It was their first pick in the draft, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll see a Bolts jersey anytime soon, but people are talking about how he's kind of like Sorelli, and I think those utility guys are important. So if he actually turns out to be that kind of player down the road, that can be huge. But again, that's not a defenseman.
No, not a defenseman. And that goes back to what we've been talking about on past shows. It's you got to kind of swing and build that system beyond Victor Hedman
Mm-hmm.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question for you.
Okay.
We've named some good prospects. We've talked about guys we're excited to see. If I had to ask you right now, who would you say is the number one prospect in the Lightning system? The guy that you think is going to make the biggest impact at the NHL level?
This season?
Any season. Like
Any
not
season.
like the biggest blue chip the Lightning have.
I feel I got really high vibes on Dylan Duke. I think he has the potential to make a big splash. So that's who I'm going to go with here. I just think right now, like we've talked about so much, the forward group is so set right now, and it's just cracking into that at his age and his level right now. I don't think it's going to be now. It could be soon though.
Yeah. I can see Dylan Duke. He does have that like Tyler Johnson kind of vibe, just like small pint size, forechecks well. I think,
and if I'm not mistaken, he scored this past season on his one game that he played for the Lightning, and he's got some swag to his game. That's an important part of hockey.
Yeah, you got to have that swag. Played 2 games with the Lightning last year.
Dude, 2 games.
Have a goal. Yeah,
he did have a goal.
He did have a goal against Detroit. Didn't play a lot. Like 7 minutes of ice time his first game, just over 8 in the second. So yeah, didn't play a lot, but good to see him get there. Did have a pretty good season with Syracuse, though. I will mention that. I would say by default, maybe it's Sam O'Reilly right now.
Okay.
And I get the Sorelli vibes from him too, as a guy that I think is going to be maybe a slot in as a really good number 2 center. You know, he's got that sort of defensive vibe around him where he can just control the middle of the ice really well. His positioning is really good. I think he's a really, really good skater, has a fair amount of speed. I don't think he necessarily has the high-end ceiling that Isaac Howard had. We're going to talk about that trade coming up in just 1 minute. But I think when you look at him, I think you do see the makings of a pretty solid NHL player there. That's somebody that I think maybe give him another year or 2, and that's somebody that you can kind of look at as a project for somebody who can really shore up the middle of your lineup long term.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah. So let's talk about the trade that got Sam O'Reilly here, shall we? It's the Isaac Howard trade. We have big thoughts on it. Did it work out for the Lightning as well as we hoped? I think there actually might be some light on the end of the tunnel for this. We're going to talk about that coming up in just 1 second. Welcome back to Locked On Lightning. Nick Morgan alongside Greg Steven. We are talking prospects to kick off the start of the prospect tournament in Wesley Chapel. Greg, the big headline for the prospect pool this past year involves a guy who's not in it anymore. Yeah, and that's Isaac Howard. Hobey Baker winner, was just ranked 18th on NHL Network's top prospects. A guy that you could kind of conceivably point at as maybe the one high-end star in the Lightning system, somebody that you can kind of conceive being like a number 1 player or top line player moving forward. Just didn't work out that way, did it? For whatever reason, requested the trade, you know, again, for reasons that we don't know for sure, probably will never know, and then winds up going to Edmonton in exchange for O'Reilly. So, Greg, Looking back now, what are your thoughts on the Isaac Howard situation and how it played out?
Like you said, we'll never know the true reasons behind what happened there, right?
Yeah,
All we can do is speculate. And here's my speculation. Okay.
there we go.
I think he thinks he's elite. And maybe he's right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Has he proven that at the NHL level? No. Does that mean that he deserves a guaranteed top 6 spot? No. I think he thinks he deserved at least a second line lock. And I think when they said, we can't guarantee that you're playing a ton of time right now, like our roster is stacked.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, well, then why am I here? Like, I'm wasting my time. Look, I get it. If I think I'm worth more than what someone is saying I'm worth at the time, like, I get it. You want to go somewhere else? Totally get it. There is an ego there, I think. And I personally am glad there's no ego on the Lightning, because get that out of my locker room. We've seen how egos collapse teams in all sports, in the NBA, in the NFL, in the NHL. It happens. And when guys make it about themselves, it's just not the way. And again, like, I totally get it. Maybe he is deserving of a high, top 6 role on a team. It's just, why would the Lightning give that to you right now? The top 6 is better than you, period. It's a fact. You haven't proven any NHL time yet. And if you're not willing to work your way there, then, good luck somewhere else. That's all I can say.
It's interesting because, look, I don't want to be these kids today, making these demands, blah, blah, blah. NIL money is bad. Like, I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
But I will say that I think you see in sports in general a lot of instant gratification. I think you see it. You've seen it play out in the NHL a couple of times. The Cutter Gauthier situation. Just a long list of people who are like, I'm not playing there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I demand to be traded.
Yeah.
Or you see it a lot in like college football. Like, hey, 5-star prospect comes in as a quarterback, doesn't win the starting job behind a guy who's been there 3 years. The next year he's in the transfer portal playing for UNLV or something like that.
Right.
You just see a lot of that in college sports. You see a lot of it with younger players.
See it in the NBA a lot too, actually.
You see it in the NBA a lot, where it's like, if I'm not getting what I need right now, then I'm outie.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that if you look at Isaac Howard's situation, I look at the opportunity that he had here. He has the opportunity to come in and be the top prospect on a team that just won back-to-back Stanley Cups within the last 5 years.
Yep.
One of the best built teams probably of the past decade. A team that still has a lot of its core and is widely regarded as one of the best teams in the NHL right now. You have a chance to come in and be a highly rated star for them if you would have stayed here and just developed.
Yep.
And
look, why would you not want to, like, get some time with Cooch and Point and those guys? Like,
yeah,
I get it. Look, it's not like the Oilers aren't enticing either, but
you have a chance to play with, two of the best players of our generation. I get it, but it's also, it felt like a very much like, if I'm not in the top 6 for the Tampa Bay Lightning right now, then there's another team that can use me better.
Exactly.
And honestly, like, can Edmonton offer that same deal right now? Like, is he beating Evander Kane for a spot? Like,
doubt it.
What's the situation there? Like, is he going to be on the first line with Connor McDavid right now?
That's what I wonder, because,
I would be surprised.
Right. It's like you're saying, to me, there was a spot at the bottom of the Lightning's forward group where he could have cracked in. And then if he was popping off at that level, they could move him up the lineup, right? I think he had the opportunity to get up to where he wanted to be if he just started low and built his way up. But over even a few games, if he played a few games and he put up a couple points, like, they'd be like, all right, let's move him up a bit, right? Like,
yeah.
And what, now you think you're going to go to the Edmonton Oilers and maybe they'll put you on the 4th or 3rd line? They're going to do the same thing. Like, it's not like you're going to go up and play with McDavid instantly. That ain't happening. I can promise you. Like, I can promise you, it's not going to happen. So I don't know what he thought he was gaining. Really, it's like, to me, it's a very similar, almost the same situation. It's like, you got Point, Cooch, Gensel, and you got Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, like those guys. So it's like, I don't know. It's the ego. It's the ego to me. And maybe I'm wrong. And again, it's all speculation, but it does feel that way. And I would prefer to have the ego gone personally. So I'm fine with it.
I'm with you there. How do you feel about the trade? Getting Sam O'Reilly in, like what I said, I don't think he's got that high end, like first line, ceiling right now, although he can certainly develop, as the years go on, but he doesn't seem to have that big sort of boom, top tier right now.
Yeah.
But still a very solid player. Are you happy with the resolution? Do you feel like the Lightning got enough for Isaac Howard?
I think so. It's hard with these kind of guys, right? Because like we've been saying, you don't really totally know how it'll go at the NHL level for them, right? So it's really trading chances for chances to me. For all we know, Isaac Howard could get hurt and this kid could be significantly better in the long run, right? So Who knows? Let's see what they do in the NHL level. I think right now I'm fine with it. I think it's totally fine. I don't know what else you would want, right, in return. I don't think anyone's giving you anything too crazy for Isaac Howard. Again, he hasn't proved anything really yet. So
yeah. And it sounds like you're handcuffed also, because it sounds like he had a very limited list of teams in which he would have signed with.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the Lightning did the best they could done in this situation. And I'm with you. They get somebody back in O'Reilly, who I think you can develop into a really good NHL player. I think that's all you wanted out of the situation. And look, you may not have a future superstar, but you still have Braden Point. You still have Anthony Cirelli, still have Brandon Hagel, still have Jake Gensel, not to mention a few more years of prime Nikita Kucherov.
Right. And I was going to say, you still have those years to find that next superstar. And just because it's not Howard, let's not force it. Okay. And I like that. I like that decision.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% there. So I think the Lightning are going to do just fine. And I think they have a player who might fit what they're looking for better than the line. So
yeah,
for me, Greg, it's a nice little fairy tale book close on the situation. And hey, I'm excited to see what this group of prospects can do. The first game for the Tampa Bay Lightning in the prospect tournament is going to be tonight at 5:00. They also play tomorrow on Saturday, and then they play Monday late afternoon. All of these games are going to be available to watch live on TampaBayLightning.com. Awesome job by the team to put these games online for free every year. It's a great chance for fans to get their first look at the new team. We're going to be recapping what we've seen from the prospects coming up on next week's show. Be sure to tune in then. For us, though, that's a week. That is a week in the book, folks.
Week in the books.
Week in the books. Thank you for making Locked On Lightning your first listen of the day. Every single day. We'll be back Monday with recap from the first couple of games of the prospect tournament. We'll see you then.